Hi, I'm Sam Cook, the Sales Director of the BC Talent team. So I think there are likely two scenarios in that somebody is watching this video. First off, you've been contacted by the BC Talent team already. You're learning about the BC Talent program and you're trying to consider if switching careers is the right thing to do. And you want to know how a career in ERP could actually be a move into AI. Or you've made the first step in acknowledging that the future of work will involve AI somehow, and you're trying to understand what actual career opportunities are available to you. And to help answer that, I'm thrilled to be joined by Dona Sarkar. Donna, let's start with a little bit about you first. According to LinkedIn, which is always a good source of information for these types of things, you are the Chief Troublemaker at Microsoft, and you're running hundreds of Copilot experiments. That sounds rather fun, but what does that actually mean?
Hey everyone, thank you for inviting me to join you all. So what it means to run Copilot experiments is I work with companies all over the world to figure out how they can actually use this AI thing on their own data so it's actually useful and correct. And one of the things that's been very fascinating is that the lack of, I don't want to say the word talent, but the lack of experience with AI is what has caused most of the issues in companies. And it's no one's fault. We suddenly expected everybody in the tech industry to become an AI expert overnight. And this is not something that most people have studied, have experience in over the past 20 years. So what we're seeing is this gap where people don't know what AI is good for, what it's not good for. They don't know how to set up their data correctly so AI can use it. And through experiments are learning how exactly they can use AI better in their business.
Cool. And so what has your own journey into an AI-based career looked like?
So my own journey is actually very traditional. I did study computer science back in the day, and I've worked in kind of low-level tech for my entire career. I built operating systems, I built holograms, and that was actually where I started working with AI first, because so much of it is understanding the environment around us and understanding the human, how we interact with machines. So whether it's gaze, a gesture, voice, etc. So my work started with, in the AI space, started with all of the various Azure services that integrated into Windows to build HoloLens, which was the mixed reality headset. And then for a long time, I worked on the Power Platform, which is where I get to know the BC community pretty well. And Power Platform was actually one of the first products at Microsoft to get a large language model running internally.
Amazing. So I think it's a good example that, like many people, it's unlikely you start with an AI career. You end up there, as lots of people through our program will see, and they'll ultimately end up doing, hopefully. So of course we'll be discussing AI, but in a slightly different context. We'll be discussing it in the context of ERP, in this case, Business Central. AI is pretty much a household term now. Everyone's heard of it, even if they didn't want to. Business Central and ERP, not so much. They're certainly not the household names that you hear all of the time. In fact, lots of people that we meet who to us have really obvious transferable skills for a career in Business Central, they just aren't aware. How would you describe where BC fits into the wider Microsoft ecosystem?
So I think BC is one of the most special products we have because it serves a very large audience that is usually underserved. So what we call the SMB market, aka small media business, that is 99% of the businesses in the world, right? Most of the tech industry really serves up enterprises, which we consider to be, over 50,000 people. But when you look at the medium business, the smaller medium business, that's anywhere between 0 people to 50,000 people. That is most of the businesses in the world. And these are the businesses because they don't have a huge number of staff. They need more tech than anything else. And they need tech that is fairly straightforward and curated to solve their specific business issues. So BC really fulfills that need in the market. And Microsoft is all in on BC, as you know. We've got so many events, so much churn in the product itself. And BC was one of the first Dynamics products to actually get AI activity, right? So the BC, the thing where you upload a picture and it creates some copy for you, the BC sales agent. So BC was one of the first places in the biz apps world that got inbox AI and Copilots integrated into it. So BC folks have been aware of it for, I think, 3 years at this point.
How does that compare to some of the other Microsoft products? Is Business Central further ahead in its capability, or is it all fairly even?
I think Business Central is right in the middle. There's some Microsoft products that are AI by design, right? You look at something like a product called Project Sophia, now called Business Results Analyst, or you look at Copilot Studio or Microsoft 365 Copilot. These are all AI by design products that we've invented in the last 3 years. But in terms of products that have been around a long time and have adoption, BC is squarely right there. I always like an enterprise product that gets, a glow up with AI because we already have users. We already have practitioners. We already have users. And they're the ones who really understand where the need is rather than taking a product that does not exist. We have no idea who the customer is, who the user is, who's the practitioner. So BC is the kind of product that does very well in the AI space because you already got a strong community of people around it who are ready to go trial the new functionality and say, this is good, this is bad. Actually, we need this other thing.
Yeah. So on that functionality, what would you say the key differences that you've noticed in Business Central have been now that AI is a thing, now that it exists? Um, how is that compared to Business Central before AI?
I use Business Central in my personal life, to be clear, because I run a retail business out of my house, actually, which is the chaos behind me. And one of the most interesting things is that running a retail business is annoying because of inventory management and bringing in new inventory and offloading inventory. And the BC Copilot actually does a lot of this for you. So one of the really interesting things is when I bring on new inventory, that copy is just generated based on the existing copy I'd already written. And it just kind of does it automatically. I don't need to go do a complicated prompt process. And the first time that happened, I felt it was a very magical experience because I forgot how time consuming it is to write copy for each and every item that comes along. Even if it is a copy paste modified, that's still time. And the fact that the BC Copilot did that for me since the first day was a very, very cool experience. I think one of the things that we need to do is showcase to people all of the interesting AI Copilot experiences throughout the app that they might not be even aware of because there's new things being added all the time. And every time you look at the app with new fresh eyes, you're going to find, oh, there's a new AI thing over here. There's a Copilot over there. There's some automated thing going on in the background.
If you look at the jobs that exist within Business Central, um, you think about consultants and developers. How do you see those two jobs and their responsibilities changing due to the AI that exists within the product?
So I see these jobs becoming even more important. The developer job, fairly predictable. If folks who are BC devs, they already know that they need to get skilled up on AI. There's some amazing role models in the community who I look to help guide the community along. It does take someone who deeply understands how AI model works, how to, go and extend a BC connector with AI, or how to use it in a different context or whatever it is. The BC consultant, I think, now has an opportunity to streamline their work and say, hey, I'm going to go teach you how to use BC, dear customer, and let me use AI to streamline that process. But also, how do I go teach the customers which specific AI feature would be the right thing for, say, a retail business compared to a insurance business, compared to, some other sorts of business. And I think what really matters here is the consultant deeply understands the customer and their need, and then they can map it back to the right AI activity for that customer rather than just saying some generic AI thing, right? So this is where expertise in doing the job very well for many years is going to come through because we have such an opportunity to really accelerate these small, medium businesses to give them back so much time so they can do more things. They can actually take their business up heights that they've not thought of, right? When we think about business problems, they tend to be in three categories. There's like low ROI, there's high ROI, and then there's problems we thought we would never ever be able to solve. The goal of AI is to be able to go tackle those problems that we've never been able to solve. But first we have to get rid of, the low ROI, high ROI problems. And then we can clear our minds and actually go tackle those so-called impossible problems.
Is there a prerequisite skill set that you think somebody needs to have to go on and be successful in this career, especially based on how you think those jobs will look in the future? I realize that might differ from today to the job of a dev in the future.
So, one of the things I think will be very important is being able to connect dots. So, someone has to be able to first ask good questions because AI is just asking a series of good questions. Prompting well, it's having a decent conversation, is being able to say, I'm asking AI to do this. If it's not quite right, how do I adjust it? So, it's almost being a manager. So, that's one. And the other one that's going to be really interesting is being able to say, this AI thing is doing this over here. I have this problem over there. Can this AI thing help with that problem? Or these two AI things are both working in isolation. How can they work together? So the dot connecting activity will become more and more important. And this is a skill set that not everyone in the world has, but is something that we are all going to have to get better at. Having a good grounding in BC itself will be very useful, but being able to think beyond what does BC do now and thinking to what could it do just based on other things in the world will be, I think, a very good superpower for people.
Nice. Okay. So that, I suppose, ties back into what we were talking about earlier of, there's no natural one way into this career anymore.
Mm.
People
Mhm.
with lots of different skill sets, lots of different backgrounds can all find their way into an AI career, thankfully through us with ERP, with Business Center. But it's not a one size fits all into the job anymore.
And it's not too late at all. A lot of people reach out to me saying, oh, if AI feels already so far along, have I been left behind? I've seen, we are at the Nokia flip phone era. We are not for far along at all. We're still doing that thing where when phones first came out, we would go take websites and put them on the phone and make those apps and put a little scroll bar in. We're just saving websites as phone apps. That's what we used to do. We're doing that with AI now. We are taking every single product on the planet, slapping on a chatbot, and calling that AI. This is not the end. That's not the end. This is the very beginning. It's step one. It's teaching people to prompt because the AI by design apps are going to be different and BC is going to evolve as well, right? We're going to start seeing changes in apps that come out where the UX will be adjusted based on the interaction that you're having. So uploading an item will be a different experience than showing someone an item. So one might start at gallery, one might start at upload, right? So this kind of adaptive UX will become a lot more common in the next wave of app dev. And I think it's really important to understand like that's what human wants. Humans want to receive value quicker. So how can we bring in the value quicker? How can we reduce the number of clicks they have to do to get to the thing they're trying to do in the first place?
If you were about to start a career with a Business Central partner, what would you be prioritizing now, knowing what you do to future proof your own skill set?
So what I would do if I was starting right now and saying I'm going to go focus on BC in a partner, there's three things that I would personally do, and I recommend everyone do. The first one is get very familiar with the BC customer, because the BC customer, they're all very, very different. But go get familiar with what a small business looks like and what a medium business looks like, because they're not the same business. So what tools do they already have? What problems are they tackling? What are some of the unsolved problems they've got? So first, spend a lot of time with the customer, get deeply familiar with that before you go immediately jump to solutions. So that's the first part. The second part is get familiar with BC, because it's not the BC that, you know, 20 years ago debut. There's a lot new interesting functionality. There's a lot more connectors, a lot more plugins. BC now connects with Copilot Studio. So you can have data in BC and have like some sort of a chatbot on a website that pulls from BC data. That's really interesting. There's lots of security and concerns, guardrails, but the BC's connectivity with other parts of the Microsoft ecosystem, I think, is really interesting. And the third part is I would go learn about AI. I would go figure out like what is prompt engineering? What are AI models? Which are good models? Which are not good models? How do they work? How does AI generative AI? How does it actually work under the covers? How come the results are so weird and different every time? How can I normalize them a little bit? How can I have them be more creative? So it's getting one step deeper in the stack, which I tell everybody to do in this moment in tech. We all have to look at where we are in the stack and get one level deeper. And it's going to be a little uncomfortable, and that's a good thing, because that is how we future prep ourselves for the career for the next 5-10 years. Because the thing we have been doing may work. It may work for a year or a few years, but at some point this job is going to evolve. But that's not new. We had to migrate from BC being the previous version of 2005 to the version it is now. So we've already done this. We already have the muscle memory. And now it's time for us to get one level deeper and really embrace AI as a part of something that is native to BC.
I know from any of the talks you've done, people always leave with some tasks.
Mm-hmm.
What homework would you like to give people from this conversation?
So the most important thing all of you should be doing is going to the BC Talent page and clicking on Learn More, because we really want more people to come and join the BC community, because we want you to come and first have a role in the AI verse. Make my job easier, folks, because the number of people reach out to me saying, we're looking for AI people. I have 5 partners right now in my inbox saying, we need to hire AI people, bring us some AI people. I'm saying, my friends, I do not grow them on trees, okay? I'm trying to steal from your various communities and grow them ourselves in a lab. But what we need you to do is go to the BC Talent page, learn more, and come and join us, right? Join us to have a career in the AI verse.